Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to show you how to determine the Hall coefficient, carrier density and carrier mobility of a given semiconductor specimen by using Hall effect theory. So, let us first learn what is Hall effect. What is Hall effect? If a current carrying conductor is placed in a perpendicular magnetic field, a potential difference will generate in the conductor which is perpendicular to both the magnetic field and current. This phenomenon is known as Hall effect. Now I will show you what actually happens with the movement of the charges. Let us consider a rectangular specimen of thickness Z. Here, if we apply a current in the x direction and a uniform magnetic field along the z direction, an EMF should develop along the y-axis. Now let us first consider the situation before the magnetic field is introduced. There is an electric current flowing in the positive x direction, which means electrons will drift in the negative x direction with a drift velocity Vx. When the magnetic field is introduced along the negative z direction, using Fleming's left hand rule, we can see that the Lorentz force Fl causes the electrons to bend upward. As a result, electrons will get accumulated on the upper surface, which will produce a net negative charge there. Simultaneously, a net positive charge will also appear on the lower surface due to the lack of the electrons. This combination of positive and negative charge surface creates an upward electric field. Now, the Hall field EH created by the surface charges produces a force which opposes the Lorentz force. The accumulation process continues until the Hall force completely cancels the Lorentz force. So, this is what happens with the movement of the charge due to presence of the electric field in the magnetic field. Now, let us do the deduction for the expression of Hall coefficient. In a steady state, Fh is equal to Fl, which gives E into EH, which is the field created by the surface charge, and E Vx Bz, where Vx is the drift velocity of the charge and Bz is the applied magnetic field in the z direction. This gives EH equal to Vx Bz. Let us put this equation 1. Now we know current density is equal to N E Vx. N is the number of charge, E is the charge, and Vx is the drift velocity of the charge. Now dividing equation 1 to equation 2, we get EH by Jx equal to Bz by Ne. From this we get EH by Jx Bz is equal to 1 by Ne. This is known as the Hall coefficient RH. Now we know the current density is equal to the current flowing through the surface divided by the surface area. Here we have taken the specimen in this way and the current is flowing in the x direction. So the area is given by this part, that is z into y. So Ix by z into y. So therefore, putting this value in equation 3, we can get RH is equal to 1 by Ix divided by Zy into Bz, and replacing EH by Vy by y, we get Vyz divided by Ix Bz. So this is the expression for the Hall coefficient. Here I have taken a Hall probe which is of germanium crystal and is of N type. So this portion is the germanium crystal, and it has 4 terminals attached to it. So we will connect the power supply to the hall probe across this. The magnetic field will be perpendicular to the germanium crystal, and the hall voltage will be measured across this terminal. This is the Gauss stick which is connected to the Gauss meter. So if we insert it in between the electromagnet, it will give the value of the magnetic flux given by the electromagnet, and we will get the reading in the Gauss meter. But as you can see, it is giving some value, but there is no magnetic field in the environment. So we have to calibrate the instrument as here it is written set 0. You can see that we will calibrate it to 0. Yeah. And through the constant current power supply, we will supply the hall current to the specimen, and here we will get the corresponding hall voltage. Now let me show you how to do the experiment. So firstly, for hall coefficient, that is RH, the equation goes like this: delta VH, that is delta of hall voltage, the thickness Z, thickness of the material, delta I, that is the hall current, into the magnetic flux. So now let us find the value of hall voltage. Now to find the hall voltage, firstly we need to apply a magnetic flux to the specimen and apply a hall current, value of hall current, and we will get the corresponding value of hall voltage which is formed across the specimen. After getting the hall current and the value of the hall voltage, we can find the value of delta I and delta VH, which is needed to find the hall coefficient. So if we plot the graph between the hall current and the hall voltage, we will get a graph like this, a straight line. And by finding the value delta V and delta I, we can put this value over this equation, and finally we will get the value of hall coefficient by putting the value of Z, that is the thickness of the material, and H, that is the magnetic flux given to the specimen. After finding the value of RH, now we can find the value of carrier density rho. The equation goes like 1 by RH, which is the hall coefficient, into the charge. So by putting the value of RH and Q, we can find the carrier density of the specimen. Then for the carrier mobility mu, the equation goes like RH into sigma, where sigma is the conductivity of the material, which is pre-known. Now let me show you how to take the reading. So firstly we will need the magnetic flux value. Here I have taken the Gauss stick which is connected to the Gauss meter. Let me switch it on, and the power supply which is given to the electromagnet. Initially it is 0, so let me give some value to the power supply. Here I have given 0.5 ampere current to the electromagnet. Now let me place the Gauss stick in between the electromagnet and the flux given by the electromagnet is 2.45 Gauss. So the current applied is 0.5 ampere, and the value of the Gauss meter shows 2.68 Gauss. So the magnetic flux will be 2.68. Now after applying the magnetic flux of 2.68 Gauss, now we will place the germanium crystal, that is the N-type semiconductor, which is our specimen, inside the electromagnet and provide a Hall current, and we'll find the value of the Hall voltage across the specimen. So let me first take this out. Now let me connect it to the constant current power supply. From this we will get the Hall current, provide the Hall current to the specimen, and we'll get the value of the voltage, which will be in millivolt. That is, the Hall voltage is very small, produced is very small actually, so mostly it is in a millivolt. So now let me place it in the holder like this. As you can see, these terminals are connected through this wire, which is connected to the power supply. So here I will place it in the holder. And then here the magnetic field is in this direction. This depends on the flow of direction of the current. So, and the material we have to put in such a way that the magnetic field is in a perpendicular direction. So as you can see, the material is in a vertical direction and the magnetic field is going in the horizontal direction. So placing it inside the electromagnet, in such a way so that the magnetic field is perpendicular to the specimen. Now switch on the power supply. Now the Hall current, that will be the current applied to the specimen, applied across the specimen. Let me give value of 0.4 milliampere. So for 0.4 milliampere, that is the 0.4 milliampere of Hall current, the corresponding Hall voltage is 3 millivolt. 3 millivolt. So similarly, you can take you can vary the Hall current and you will get the corresponding Hall voltage. And as I said earlier, putting these values in a graph, you can find the delta VH and delta I, which is necessary to find the Hall coefficient. So after performing the experiment by varying the Hall current, here I have got the value of the Hall voltage for the corresponding Hall current, and also remember to subtract the residual voltage, which we will get after switching off the power supply to the electromagnet. So by here I have put the value of Hall current and the Hall voltage in the IV graph. That is, the Hall current is in x-axis and the Hall voltage is along y-axis. From this you will get the value of delta V and delta I, which is needed to find the value of RH, that is the Hall coefficient. So now by putting the value of delta V, delta I and Z, that is the thickness, and H, that is the magnetic flux, you will get the value of the Hall coefficient. And further you can put this value for the carrier density and carrier mobility.